can see it coming. It's not going to be through the winter, and that road won't look the same next spring. Not to say they didn't do a good job patching them. They did. But the patch is a patch. It's a Band-Aid. So we can fix them far better than it was before we patched them. But the patch isn't going to last 2, 3, 4 years. I bet you're going to get 18 months out of it, and you're going to start seeing it. So it's a short term. You're not going to get a company to patch it any better than they did. I watched them. They dug it up, they compacted it, and they surfaced back over. They did a great job. It's just a patch isn't going to hold on that road. The road bed itself is just destroyed.
So Gary is actually the one that's spearheading the project. So Gary, you want to?
Well, first of all, a couple of the one of the patches that failed because there were some oversized trucks pulling in there.
I witnessed that myself. I actually took pictures of it, and I told Linda.
But I checked with, well, first of all, we came up with a guy that did patch. We had a company that was willing to just put asphalt down and run a roller over it, and they were going to charge us $2 a square foot.
No, they did a great job here.
Well, no, this is not them. These guys actually pulverized the existing pavement. They used a rotor mill. They added base. They shaped it with a tractor. They went over it with a roller. They added a tack coat, asphalt, and compacted again with a drum roller. When I went back to the guy and I told him, I said, you know, we had 3 of them fail, and you guys told me that, you know, they'd be here longer than the rest of the road. And so the guy, he said, well, there's an additional step we can take. You've got a terrible road base. And I said, well, yeah, but, you know, you offered to fix it, and this was the process you said they would fix it. And they're going to make that good. They're going to come back and fix those patches. They're patches. I don't know how long they'll last. I don't know that much about roads. I checked. There's an additional step. And by the way, I checked with other companies, and it's the exact procedure they would have followed. Someone mentioned, well, that's not the way you fix a road. But that's the way this company did and other companies would. There's an additional step where you put a white, and I know y'all have seen this on the road, they got a big old tanker truck and they put a white liquid down. It's a stabilizing liquid. It stabilizes the soil and increases strength and durability. It helps shed water. The only issue is it costs over 2.5 times what we paid to have this work done. And it's a patch. Do we want to pay that much to put a patch down, or do we want to continue putting these patches down? Now, you know, again, I'm no road expert, but to me it seems like it's holding pretty well. And certainly not 14 out of 17 failed. That's ridiculous.
I think you know, part of what we have to do is, you know, we have it's kind of like we have ones and zeros. We have 100. We have a score of 100 over here. Beautiful concrete, working out great. We have that. And we have zeros over here. You know, we have roads. The Curie Lane has got some dips in it that'll bounce your head off the ceiling as you go down that street. So that's our problem. Is that we owe it to everybody in the town to at least make a reasonable attempt. It's not going to be great. We have to make it better. Everybody deserves to get some benefit out of this road. We got to make it presentable.
We set up this fund just to do this. We gotta maintain what's there until we can do the right thing.
Yeah, I mean, we earmarked this money to and Bears Fair. Bears Fair, we've got concrete on this half, we've got asphalt on the other third. There's 3 streets which don't have anything. We have 3 streets that are just chip and seal. That's failed.
Okay.
So I think we need to ask the question. What was raised last time was, if the company did it and we guaranteed it and we're having problems, go fix it and show your guarantee is working. So we have a few that have failed. Some of us think there's more that have failed. Some of us think there's less that have failed. But we clearly know there's some that have failed. So the company should come out here and guarantee what we already paid for and fix the ones that have failed.
So you would have them come out and bring all of the equipment
I would
and
have them-
stuff and repair that, and then talk to them about coming out at a later date and making the other repairs?
If I had a warranty, if I bought something and I had a warranty, I would want to make sure that they're going to fix and repair the roads based on the warranty. Because they could have done this last year, right? Secondly, there's nothing on here to review. If anybody in the audience may not have noticed this, but on everything else we've done today, did you notice that we had something to read, something to review? We had numbers, figures, things. It's the second month in a row. There's nothing, that's why he's got the agenda up there, because there's nothing to review. Right?
See, this is
authorized.
a continuation
So
of
hold on.
last month. So here's the issue
Guys,
at
there's
hand.
nothing to review except just vote and spend $30,000. And by the way, that 30 grand, we still have an outstanding issue where we misappropriated sales tax from a couple of years ago.
We still, you're off topic.
We
So
still-
let's,
so
here's
we
the
don't
idea.
have-
Dan, enough.
Hold on,
Enough.
we do not have $30,000, guys. The money has to go back where it belongs.
The discussion needs to be up
Here's
here
the
on
discussion.
the table,
Dan,
not to the
Ed,
audience.
I have said all this to you. You don't want to hear it.
You never said one word to me about this,
I've said
Dan.
it 4 times, Ed.
You're lying through your teeth.
All right.
let's,
Yo!
let's,
That's not appropriate. Once again,
All right, here's
Well,
what
it's
we
not
want to do.
appropriate to lie.
All right, look,
Hold on. We have an opinion
Look.
from our lawyer that says you cannot do this.
Here's the question
And what
at
we
hand.
did was we ignored it. So we've got the
Question
TML
at hand
and the
is-
Texas law, and we're just gonna
Dan,
continue.
enough.
Guys,
Enough.
you gotta stop, Mark.
Let's get to
At
the
some
point of order.
point, at
So
some point,
here's
we
the
gotta stop.
point of order. The
Ed?
point of order is
You
right
guys
now-
are on council, you're voting this stuff.
So
You know what's going on.
we have consideration
I
of
have no idea.
authorizing
You have no idea.
expenditures for road
What's your
repairs.
Who's signing the checks, Ed?
So,
Who
look,
who signed the checks,
Dan,
Ed?
Dan, you're out of order. Now, let's just get back to the point at hand. The point at hand deals with the road repairs. Okay? We're talking about road repairs. So,
So
We
road
have-
repairs, why would we spend more money on somebody that is not warranting what they already
they
did?
are warranted, they don't come back and fix it.
Then they need to fix it without us having to spend more money.
Liz, you
on
have
the other one.
you have to be.
You
No
wouldn't do that, you
one.
wouldn't do that from a personal standpoint. If you buy something and they warranty
It's,
it, you're gonna
you
ask
know,
them
Liz,
to come
it's
back.
really easy to talk about theoretical perfection. Come back and live in Lakewood Village. Do you think this guy's, and we don't have hardly anyone who will do the work to begin with, we're too small. Do you think he's gonna get his crews together, mobilize them, bring them all the way out to Lakewood Village to do about 50 square feet of work with the materials,
Warranty.
then leave the city, and then we'll go to him and say, maybe we'll use you again.
Contractors go to smaller places than this. They go to apartment complexes and do this.
That's
And
a
they,
They
and
don't
and there's no
come
streets.
back. They don't come back. This is the
That's a
issue
very
we
good
always
point.
have. We've never had a road guy actually come back to Lakewood Village a second time.
So I just have a question.
There's a question.
What is the issue with, if we approve the additional expenditure, allowing the company to make good on their warranty and do it at the same time? What is the issue with that?
How do you know that the second one won't fail either?
We've got a pretty good
You
track
don't.
record.
Well, we've got at least the experience, I forget exactly when the 17 or where the right number was that was done. The vast majority of them, 15, whatever it is, are still in good shape. So I think I could jump to a conclusion that the same type of work and quality is going to be done if we do it again.
So he said this would last as long as the rest of the roads, right? That would not be 18 months.
Sure. But that's why we gotta get him back. That's why we gotta get him back. Look, if you want to delay this, it's not gonna get done. You can't do this in the winter. You can't do asphalt roads in the winter. They don't do that, okay? Because you run into problems with the weather. That's why we tend to do it this time of year. This is when the paving season is ending. It ends at this time of year.
Can we,
That's why they count. So,
can we venture into another option?
What?
Is that a possibility?
There's nothing on here to review, we can do anything we want.
So this was a contractor that was in the convention. They sell an asphalt-looking product, and they guarantee the product, and it's for patching. they're willing to come out and do a demonstration for free and measure and tell us and give us a bid, and they're here in Fort Worth, can we look at this option?
Sure.
If Mark says it, apparently we can do it, so.
You know, it's up to you. It's whatever, if that's what you want to do. But look, my position is this, okay? I was here when we put in the concrete roads. I'm the one that voted to put in the concrete roads. I was a voting member, I voted on that. And what we agreed was, fair is fair. We're gonna do the whole city. We started with your street. You got the first concrete, okay? You did. Now, we're gonna sit
Why
here.
would you say that to me like that?
So what's gonna happen now is, we're gonna now go around, and fair's fair. We have to do something for the other streets. We have to
And I
do
didn't
something.
say not to. I
So
just said,
that's
why
what we
don't
wanna
we
do.
look at another option?
So we've got to do the repairs now. We cannot wait
No,
till we get into February, because you wanna table it 4 more times. So if you wanna bring them out, so that, you know, at the next meeting, you say, here's what we're gonna do,
can
option
come
A or
out
option
next
B. If that's what you wanna do, I don't have a problem with that,
Okay,
okay? But
I didn't say
we're
table it for 4
going
months. Mark.
we're going to figure out what we're gonna do next month. We're either gonna fish or cut bait, because we've got to move on the roads. You can't do them in January.
So I guess just,
That's,
so I'm
that's the
clear, I
plan.
mean, are you asking Gary to do this, or are you gonna take
No,
this
she's
project
gonna
from
do
Gary?
it. She'll be glad.
no, she offered to do it.
Okay.
No, I offered to do it. I'm not
Oh,
gonna
Gary's
add
not-
anything else on Gary's plate.
No, I'm
Of
just
course
curious,
not.
so then when we come next month, I'm just trying to make sure I understand. I mean, one day here, I just wanna make sure we're walking away and I understand.
now, how are you going to get them to bid? Are you gonna get them to give it to you on a square foot?
They come out and they measure how many patches they have to do, and they give us a bid based on how many bags we have to use.
So they're not doing anything regarding the base, they're just replacing or laying down asphalt?
Yes, and it's warranted for life, and it's durable, and I think we should look into it to see if maybe this can at least buy us some time so that we can do the concrete. And it would be less expensive than $30,000.
Did they tell you what the square foot price is, or they have to come?
They have to come and measure it, and they were, gonna do a presentation and just grab one out there and do it to demonstrate their product.
I mean, typically, so here's the way that we normally do it, is they come out and you walk it with them, and you mark it. This spot's bad, you mark it. This spot's crappy, and you kind of set the limits on it. That way, then you come out with them and say, this is what we want you to do, and then they measure and they quote us.
Okay.
That's typically how it's done. They don't go around and find stuff, because they'll find 800 things,
I know.
that's not perfect. So typically, that's what Gary did, and, went around with markings. So is that what you're gonna do?
Yes, I will do that.
Okay, so,
Hey, Liz, do you think maybe we should
so,
just have them send us the place they've already done, and we'll go take a quick run out, just to make sure it's even viable? Just have them send us, hey, we've done these 2 repairs, and come on, let's go take a drive out and say, that looks good, looks bad. I mean, it might be easier than bring them out here and see how it goes.
I mean,
I
Let's do
just-
that first, then we bring them out.
the concern I have with just dropping asphalt now is that asphalt's gonna spread. That's our problem with the asphalt overlays we did. There's no curb. So the more you drive on it, it's like Play-Doh, it just spreads. That's why, these patches, they dug them down and tried, so that's my concern about, because we did that. We used to have a pallet out there. We went to Lowe's and we bought a pallet of that ready-mix asphalt. And Clint and I did it. We were on my golf cart, and we'd go around the holes and throw gravel in there, and we'd be dumping that asphalt in from the bags in there.
Still typically do that if we got a pothole, that's just.
Yeah, we kind of do that, but the asphalt tends to spread. That's our problem. But yeah, okay, so that sounds good. So what we're gonna do then is we're just gonna move on, then we'll just table it.
Can I offer a
Oh,
thought?
go ahead, yeah.
I don't mean to put any more work on Gary as well. But I do think it would be a very good idea, Gary, if you could partner with her. Because at some point, we're probably going to need to do a comparison and make a value decision. She knows nothing about the company that, you know, has done our work before. And I feel much more comfortable with your background and experience to be there to help assist and make sure that we're doing.
I'm definitely a road man.
I know you are.
He already admitted he didn't know anything about roads.
All right, then we will, so we'll just table this thing, and we'll move ahead. All right, so number 6. All right, so number 6 is the consideration of the fence ordinance. So we've talked about this at least, is this the 3rd time, twice? I don't know. So this is again, same kind, I didn't make any changes to it. Clint gave me some suggested edits. I didn't get around to putting them in. Not that they're not valid, I just was sidetracked on some other stuff. But this is the basic fence ordinance. I guess what we want to do now is figure out, I know that we have a couple of people that want to speak. So on the basic idea here is, those are just the definitions. So we have the regular definitions. Prohibited construction, nobody's raised any real concerns about the prohibited constructions. Height restrictions unchanged at 8 feet. It's 3 feet in the front yard, that's unchanged from before. So the issue that we have, I think the most concerns have been raised on both sides, is the special provisions for waterfront property. And I know that we have, I don't think Murdad is here, right? We didn't see Murdad. So Murdad spoke last time on Stowe about his concerns, and Jeff also spoke, and did you speak last time?
I didn't speak.
Oh, you were here.
I was here.
You were here, yeah. You want, Linda, help me out here.
Mr. Williams, would you like to speak?
Okay.
Yeah, I just have a couple things to go over, so
Stand up.
hopefully I don't create the same energy as I just want to talk about fences, so hopefully that's not,
All right, Jeff, you want to stand up to the podium? So we
Yeah,
can-
absolutely. First off, I want to say thank you for all of the council members and the mayor. You know, after the last meeting, you guys came by and we met and talked a little bit about a little different perspective than what was presented the last time. My wife and I, this is my wife Susan, my name is Jeff Williams. We just moved into the addition a couple months ago. We bought our house, actually we signed the contract on February 14th, and immediately after signing the contract, there were a couple things that I wanted to verify about the property. When you go into our backyard, you have a beautiful view of the lake. We do back up to core property, but
Jeff.
yeah, sorry. Yeah, I only have 3 minutes, right?
No,
So, the thing that was concerning to me was, so we had the option period, which I've explained this to you guys. I'm just going to recap a little bit. I wanted to confirm that the empty lot next to us, worked with the house to be built. And so I came up and I met with Linda, took pictures of the map on the computer, went back, measured those off. And then I also looked into the fence ordinance, because there's a fence that I basically look across that actually belongs to me right now. But, under the current ordinance, which I thought would protect part of that view that I have, that I bought my home for, I assumed that was going to stay in place. So last month we decided, you know what, we're going to come to the meeting for the first time, get involved in the community, see what's going on, and it was an interesting dynamic, to say the least. But we also heard Mark put this new recommended fence ordinance on the table that changes dramatically the view from my home, which I thought that I had done the homework and confirmed that was protected. One of the things that was said in that meeting, and Mark, the way you presented it, was that you know, the ordinance was outdated. I've looked at, and I dabble in real estate a little bit, so I'm a little bit familiar with it. I looked at a lot of homes over the last year. The note that I wrote to you guys, I said 50, I bet it's more like 100. looked at a lot of lakeside properties, a lot of lake communities, and I'm familiar with some. The current policy on lakeside properties is very common across the state of Texas, and I'm also familiar with the state of Minnesota, and very common there also, to protect the views and the values of property that's on the lake. So one of the things that came up in the conversations with some of you when you came by the house was, when I mentioned that, you asked about other properties. So I did the research. I made each one of you a pamphlet. These are ordinances at other lakeside communities in the state of Texas. And you'll find that the one that we have in place now is actually much more liberal than most. Some of them even say you can't plant a shrub over 6 foot tall if it's going to block the view of the property next to you. It's not uncommon to have this. So what was introduced in this is less common than what you already have in place today. So, when I called some of the ones that I have here and asked them the question about, and I talked to a couple secretaries that are Linda's, and I said, well, tell me a little bit about the policy and why is it in place? Some of the comments was that we want to protect the quality, the scene, the views, but also the values of our properties. Gary, I know you're a real estate agent. Liz, I know in our conversation you've been in the real estate business before, back a while back. If you go to Realtor.com, which is the largest search engine in real estate, you can sort by a number of different things. One of those is lakefront, but also lake view. And the reason it's there is because it adds value to your property. When assessments are done, those things are considered. So payback to the city is also a consideration. How much and how to quantify that, I don't know. But just what I ask is just consider that as you're making the decision. An 8-foot fence on some of our properties will block a lot of the views. In fact, it can break what I would call a bowling alley view from many backyards. The other thing is Lakewood Village has really to me, kind of two distinctly different areas. You have this side over here where most of our lots are smaller. My lot's a little over a half an acre. If you put 8-foot fences on both sides of my fence, you create a bowling alley for me in my backyard that's currently protected by the ordinance that's in place today. But if you're in the shores, which you have 1.5 to 3 acre homes, and you put an 8-foot fence on the sides of that 50 feet, it's much less disruptive because you already have an expansive view in those homes. There are a number of us that live lakefront. You have, what's the drive over here? Peninsula Drive. Imagine those homes with 50 foot, and I pulled up the maps to see where that fence would go. You would create the same thing. Now, do we make different rules for the two sections? I don't know. I struggle with that as well. I do have some thoughts and things that could be possibly presented, but my own personal feeling is the current policy is actually more in line with most lakeside communities across the state of Texas. And I pulled many of them up just randomly, just trying to find them. I actually went to Google Maps, found a lake, drilled down to it, found the community, went into their city ordinances, pulled the ordinance, and I was really surprised that ours is much more lenient in most cases. So the thought of ours being outdated, I think is incorrect. But like I said, I made these booklets up for you guys. It has policies in them from Runaway Bay, City of Lakeway, Lake Kiowa, Point Venture, Town of Enchanted Oaks, and Lago Vista. And there's many more others that you can see. But I'll give those to you so that you can review those.
You can download them?
I'm a printer, so I have access to all of that. So I cheated a little bit.
Sorry. All right. Did anyone else
Jeff.
You were closing there, right?
Yeah, like I said, I have some preferences and suggestions at some point if you wanted to hear those. Again, I think a one size doesn't fit all to me in this community because you have really two different areas. Mark, if you put some 50-foot fences on the side of yours, I know you told me most of yours was in a floodplain, but if you did that, your neighbor would barely recognize it.
That's true.
But if I did it,
I'd have the bowling alley too.
so you would be
You just
that.
want the fences to block people out.
Okay. So that's.
I'm the one that should hate.
If you're sitting on your back porch, the beauty is being able to look peripherally and panoramic. It's not looking straight back. If you put those fences, especially 8 foot, this fence that's around our water, that's an 8-foot
It
fence.
has to be, yeah.
So go out there and look at the size of it. It's not really building a fence to me, it's building a wall. And I think it would be wrong for the community. I know I'm new, but it's something that really concerns me. If I go for a walk or a run or ride my bike around this community, this is a gem to me. We were going to move back to Oklahoma City until we found this home, and I would hate to see us make a decision that can really take us in a direction that I don't think is the right direction.
But Jeff, let me make sure I understand. Your issue with the ordinance as proposed is the 8-foot fence and the 50-foot length?
No, honestly, it's a privacy fence on the lake property. Because now, actually the way ours is written today, the ordinance, if somebody wants to create that privacy, they have some options. There's lots of shrubs and trees that are used for that purpose in landscaping that can create that same effect. And ours allows that. Some of those do not. They state very clearly that you can't put those in. So ours already allows, to me, if you choose to create that barrier, you can. What I think allowing a fence policy that will allow this is it creates another layer of I don't know. This is my second meeting. I hear some frustration. I hear some tension. Do we really want to add another one? Do we want to add another fence between us?
That's a good way to close your mouth.
Well, I think, so first of all, I think, I appreciate you inviting us to your home so we can all talk to you. I think that's a much more mature approach than going on Facebook and just blasting away randomly. So I think that, here's my view. Because my job as the mayor is to bring ordinances to the city, bring ordinances to the council. I can't vote on them. I don't get scored on whether they pass or not. Obviously, I've had some residents come to me and say, I wish I had more privacy on the lake. You have the opposite. You have very valid concerns. I think both sides have really valid concerns. I think that they're very valid. I don't discount anything you said. I don't think anything you said is untrue. So what I think we ought to do is read what you gave us. And I don't think there is a, if the council wants to think about this idea that, look, we have different house sizes, we have different requirements, heights on houses. There are different requirements we have in this town depending upon if you're on a quarter acre or if you're on 4.5 acres. We do have ordinances that are different like that. The front setbacks are different, the side setbacks are different. All of the dynamics of the house itself are different depending upon whether you're in the shores, whether you're not in the shores. That's the way the city's laid out. So I think that's something the council should consider, would be, is there a way to come up with something which can suit everybody? I think that's a valid try for them to think about it. No one's obviously seen what you gave, and I appreciate the research. So, I think the council ought to consider all of this. I don't know that we need to take action tonight, but
You brought up all the twilight stuff, which kept us as this open community. I think by fencing it in, we're taking that open community part back out. The twilight deal was how do we make this that country feel,
You mean dark skies?
dark skies, I'm sorry, yeah. So
okay, what does council?
that was the cheap version, sorry.
Yeah, my personal opinion, I mean, I echo what Mark said, right? I understand the situation where the privacy is concerned, and again, I appreciate the offer to come out to your home and meet with you guys and spend a lot of time with me. I really appreciate that. I've gone back and forth on this, right? Because having privacy, but also the openness. I think actually kind of where I'm at right now, I'm having a lot of heartburn over this section 5.3. And mostly, I think what you offer up there, I think it is workable to try to mold it into different sections of town and try to come up with the different scenarios, because I think, as you said, right, trying to get out to, 50 feet from the house and the floodplain and everything. Where my main concern is actually trying to enforce that. Where is that floodplain line? Where is that? If you require a survey and then you come out and put a pin, 2 months later, somebody pulls a pin, moves the pin. To me, I kind of feel like right now it's pretty black and white. Your waterfront, you're just no solid fence. And that's much easier to enforce than trying to come up with different areas of town. That's kind of where I'm at right now. I would kind of like that. I like the idea. This is good information. Let's digest it. Let's get the other edits in there. Quickly, my edits were just tweaking the definition of what a fence is, excluding a couple other materials. One Jeff had a good point, was no pallets. Specifically spell out no pallets.
Yeah.
There's another one that happened a couple years back that I want to make sure we close the gap on and we won't allow again.
I would add that the city has a number of assets, and the lake, if it isn't the biggest asset, it's certainly up there. And I think we need to do everything we can to ensure that view of that beautiful lake continues. At the same time, while I'm not a fan of structures like fences, I am a very strong proponent of landscaping. And adding landscaping to our town, I don't see much of a disadvantage. So I'm wondering whether we could work something out for those that really would like to have some type of privacy.
Yeah, and like I said, if you read through the current without any changes, it allows that. Our current policy, as it's written today, would allow that. I bought my home knowing that policy was there, or that ordinance, and I knew that shrubbery and trees could be placed there. And so I made that decision, as everybody else did as well. So to change it,
Same situation.
Year and a half ago.
Yeah, year and a half ago, right.
And that's a very valid point, Jeff, but I'll also say that, any decision that this council or any future council makes is always subject to change, just simply because players change and dynamics change and so on and so forth. So while I appreciate your comment, everybody needs to understand that there's, not a lot